Hello, Mechwarriors, and welcome to the Mechbay, where we fix your mech and fix your game. What's going on, Mechwarriors? I'm your host, Josh, and I've got Dustin back in the hot seat.
How's it going?
And I've got Denham bringing up the rear.
Howdy, howdy.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much. Taking it easy.
Yep, things and stuff.
Summertime when the living's easy.
Summertime heat wave. Hope everyone got the double heat sinks going.
I don't, which means that I'm out of commission.
What is the vernacular for a double heat sink? I always remember it, and I always think it's the worst thing. Locally
like
known as
universe?
freezers. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah, freezers.
No.
Gross.
Yeah.
I think we should call them chilies.
Chilies. I like it.
Anyways, we've got a special episode tonight. We are
Cold ones.
cracking open a cold one with the boys. But we've got a special episode tonight. We're going to be talking about the Atlantic City Open, essentially the first Catalyst supported / endorsed tournament since, I don't know, how many years did them?
Ever? Question mark?
Like, no, not ever.
Okay.
But a long time, decades.
Wow.
I'm going to say decades. Someone might know of others that I don't know about, but it's
More
been a while.
precisely. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Atlantic City Open was held in Atlantic City, Jersey, or I should say New Jersey for those that
not that old Jersey. God, I hate old Jersey.
But this was ran by Catalyst demo team and ran at a frontline gaming event. So honestly, looking from our view, it's probably the most official thing that's happened to BattleTech in a long time.
I mean, yay. I think it's awesome that we've got some working tournament rules, and I'm looking forward to them being refined. I don't even know if they did badly. Like, I think it all ran pretty smoothly. So
yeah, no, I've heard no complaints or sad things. I thought it went really well.
that's fantastic.
Even if things didn't run smoothly, I think it's really important, especially for people who are new to the game, to the system, and maybe they're trying to start a community or whatever. Having official guidance on tournaments is like pretty important.
It's one of the most popular questions that we get is how do I build a list for a tournament? And nobody has an answer because there are no official rules until now. Now, this was classic, right?
Yeah, so this was classic. So we're going to talk about the event special rules, the missions, and then all the data we could scry from all those wonderful games.
Fantastic.
But before, let's rev up those reactors and do a coolant flush and talk about what hobby progress, hobby news, and some fan mail. So what has everyone been doing hobby progress-wise? Dustin, you were gone for a little bit, so you've got a lot to make up for, right?
I'm trying to think if I've painted any BattleTech stuff. I did get a new blackjack, the plastic blackjack painted up. I'm still experimenting with my Free Worlds League paint job style. I also been playing some 5 parsecs, so I got some more terrain printed and painted for like 28 to 32 millimeter stuff, and started painting a human person, 28 millimeter.
Human.
Yeah, I paint a lot of mechs, which are arguably robots at that scale. So, little robot people. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been up to lately. Not too much. Played a little bit of BattleTech with a new enthusiast from our local, general wargaming friend group, and play tested a hold the line mission that didn't go the way I wanted it to, mission wise. Yeah. Cinematically in my head, I want hold the line to be 2 forces that clash and really actually try to just not switch board sides, but it still happens. I'm still trying to figure out how to make that not happen. So
you need to make it with a lot more mechs. This is probably an Alpha Strike type mission if you want a proper hold the line feel to it is the thing.
But we kind of did that at the Southern Assault tournament, and we still just switch sides. And
that was the actual mission
was to switch sides.
So was to switch sides.
Just calling a spade, right? He knew better.
Yeah.
Just switch sides. We did play with some combined arms. So we did have 8 units per side. We played on 2 map sheets, a battle mat or whatever, and it was still kind of swap sidesy, unfortunately. So
it happens.
But
it's tough to get around, especially if you have any jumping units. It's so hard to keep them on their side.
But yeah, that's what I've been up to. How about you, Josh?
Oh, man. I mean, I don't know. Before I got COVID, I played an IL-Clan game against one of our listeners and got to throw out essentially what I took to Southern Assault, but use it in Classic. So, Dolawire, Lament, a Tiburon, and a Piranha. Yeah. So, a lot of heavy and a lot of light.
How you like those guys in Classic?
Tiburon is very expensive at 1800 BV, but for a light, but my gosh, it still like does work. It's got,
that's an Atlas amount of AS7D battle value right there.
Exactly. So I mean, it puts out the damage. It's a PSR a turn.
Wow. Nice.
But it got that. It came down to the wire. It came down to like last shots, Archer versus a Tiburon. And that was a great game.
Yeah, it's always a good game right there.
Mental note, don't overheat. Announce that you're going to use your Radical Heat Sinks and watch as a through armor crit and takes out your Radical Heat Sink system, because that's, and then proceed to shut down. Because that was bad. That was a fun game though. But other than rolling, I got all of my mechs that I've assembled and primed base coated, so I'm starting at like 99% paint on models, which is always great. And one of the coolest things is I kit bashed a Vulture Mark III because I told myself I didn't need another Vulture. I'll just use the one I have. Yeah, I mean, I really just like snipped the arms. So there's no arm. It's just the hand glued to the chest with a little like angled out.
Yeah, T-Rex style.
T-Rex style, yeah. Shaved down the side so there's no like the weird radar looking things on the side of the torso. And then stuck two little barrels to like the little sensor pod on the bottom, so it looks like it's got the chin turret.
Nice.
Yeah, and I thought it looked, for like a 30-minute
chop job.
Yeah, it was literally a chop job. I was like, okay, this looks acceptable. Like I'd run this as a Vulture Mark III. But yeah, so like I said, I've been out all week, so I got a lot done. Denham, how much did I get done non-podcast wise?
Oh man, it was you got a little bit done. You're creating your not missions,
escalation.
The escalation series.
Former 40K player here.
I am super excited about this because I tend to run these events, and this means that I actually get to play, and for that I am thankful.
The DM finally gets to be a player character.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I promise I won't be one of those players for you, Josh.
Oh, but yeah, so I wrote up, I wanted a way that newer players that just got plastic could like use them all like in a company size force. And essentially you make your force, you make your company, and everything costs repair points. So
like this is heavily based on the campaign, the Chaos campaign system that you can get for free off of the BattleTech website, right?
Yeah, so I pretty much took all of their things, copy pasted it right there, and just threw a couple little seasoning flavors on.
Right. I think that's a great framework for this sort of thing. I'm very excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm hyped. If you build it, they will come.
Hopefully that's a thing, because I mean, this is something we were kind of starting before COVID happened, and we got to like game 3, and I was like, oh man.
Right. It is definitely different than the mission series stuff that I play, but I think it will be easily just as fun. I think it has a lot of potential. I'm very excited about it.
It's flexible.
Yeah.
Flexible,
yeah.
Yeah, because the missions, you're only piloting one mech, and I was like, this is fine, but if I'm going to play, once every couple of weeks, then I want to take different things. So in this one, I made like Inner Sphere takes a company, Comstar takes, 2 level 2s, and clans take a binary.
Right, because with the missions, you've got a game master and you've got up to 7 players. Anything more than 6 or 7, it gets too unwieldy. And your system, there's no game master. 2 people just do a mission and play with whatever forces are, a percentage of their forces, and you can have a bunch of games going on simultaneously, right?
Yeah, this is completely meant to be played between 2 people if they want, or play group. So
I'm super excited about this.
I will say the one weird thing is, because I love them, I was like, I have to allow experimentals. I was like, but how do I balance experimentals? And I was like, oh, they just cost 2 times as much to repair.
Yep, your game, your rules.
I was like, we're going to give them all the bad design quirks and just go with it.
I like it.
But yeah, so I got the framework for that built, so now I'm going to start writing the missions. I was like, let me build my list and then write missions, so it's not... Because I actually do want to play in this.
Well, that's just it. Is it the way you set it up? You can be one of the players. It's cool.
So I'm excited. I think we've got a good, healthy interest locally to not just take one mech and not just play a 4v4, 6,500 game.
There are people who definitely want this system. So, and I'm one of them. Yeah.
Me, I need it. But so yeah, got all that wrote. Like I'm like 6 Google Docs down. Nice. I'm linking things in linking things. It's weird. But I also got to listen to Opening Arguments episode 49. That was recommended to by one of our listeners, Eric. It's essentially the Harmony Gold lawsuit from lawyer and comedian commentary. And I don't even think they mentioned BattleTech. Like, that's how deep this goes, and I didn't even realize it.
Right, but it's still hilarious.
It's hilarious and infuriating. Like, when you realize how deep the copyright issue goes, and you're like, well, I know it from this perspective, and I'm so far removed from the actual heart of the issue, and it's still hitting me. Like, this was bad.
You were going to put a link to that in the show notes for everybody?
Yeah, so I'll link that. Like I said, thanks, Eric, for recommending that. That was...
Yes, thank you.
That was a crazy listen.
Yeah, I got to listen to that.
So that was pretty much my last 2 weeks. Denham, what have you gotten done lately?
Man, I honestly don't know why you let me come on the show today. May and June are my off week, and I mean off of anything fun that I ever want to do.
You mean your off month?
Yeah, off months, May and June. I don't know what it is about September, but I have 4 brothers and a sister. I've got a lot of siblings, and most of their birthdays are in that May-June time frame. So all the family get-togethers, Memorial Day is then too, the family reunions, just everything happens then, which means my hobby progress goes away. The only reason why I'm here is you just happened to catch me on a night that I happened to be at home and there wasn't a bunch of family hanging around. So I'm here. My progress is nothing, but I'm here to support you.
We still love you.
Yay.
You're here.
All right. So that's a lot of hobby progress. I mean, I'd like to think I balance out a couple people, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
BattleTech news.
I'm not aware of any news. Is anybody aware of any news?
Lots of came out today.
There we go.
Today.
That's
which, once again dates the recording.
Yeah. Well, today or yesterday. I can't remember exactly which. I just know that I looked and it wasn't there. Then I looked again and it was. So, which is good because I'm going on vacation. So it's a nice thing to have to read on wherever.
Nice. On wherever planet you're going.
On the wherever. Yep. Going back to Somerset, my home planet.
Shipping back for R&R. Enjoy it wisely. Or badly. Whichever you prefer.
I should. Yeah, I'm not from Somerset. There actually is a Somerset. I think it's in Chicago.
What?
Yeah. So, no, I am not from Somerset, Chicago.
So after we recorded this, we had the Hammerhead Ilclan mech release as June's premium miniature. The Hammerhead is a 45-ton Sea Fox-produced mech known for its hardened armor and actuator enhancement system in the legs. What it lacks in offense, it makes up for being in a pure tank, having its assault mech levels of defense. Also, it should be noted that starting with this, all limb ball joints will have the same connectivity so that you can kit bash future premium mechs together to make weird and wild variants. And the price on that is 15 hard-earned C-bills. All right. Also some news. Unfortunately, accompanying this is Melissa No, one of the owners of Ironwind Metals, with her husband Mike No, was diagnosed with lung and brain cancer. After fighting hard for more than a year, they are needing some support. Thankfully, Catalyst Games has diverted all profit from the Hammerhead mech sales to Melissa's medical support. If you weren't able to contribute by buying a Hammerhead, but you'd still like to help financially, Derek King from Ares Games and Miniatures has set up a GoFundMe, which you can find linked in the show description below. All right. And we got a little fan mail. Reese Hansen writes, hey guys, I'm a longtime lover of the podcast. You guys put together great episodes, and I especially appreciate how you organize them and explain things so that newer tabletop players like me can keep up and understand. I feel like I know the Succession Wars fairly well as the early Clan Invasion era, but I know very little post-Tukiad. Can you guys talk about the later eras, both fluff and mechanics, and what you each like about them?
No.
Unfortunately, Reese, we're purists here, and anything after the year 3052 just a black hole in my brain. Comstar 1, peace reigned throughout the inner sphere.
BattleTech is over. It ended. No, we'll definitely be getting to that, obviously. It just takes time.
I think actually the next episode we'll be talking about the Jihad, Denham's favorite era, where all the fun things happened.
Don't expect me. I'm going to go on strike. If you guys do the Jihad, I'm going on strike.
Yeah. We love you too, Reese.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. After that, let's take a quick break and realign the HPG. I'd like to congratulate Death Ray Designs on launching their new line, Steel Rift. Written and developed by Ash Barker from Gamma Wolves, the rules include campaigns, factions, and still unreleased models. The mechs are fully modular, so you can kit bash, magnetize, and hot swap any of their new mechs. You can find them at Fortress Miniatures and Games. Mechwarriors, we have a new weapon for your arsenal. When you're redlining your mech and eggs are frying on your HUD, don't forget your greatest enemy, dehydration. Here at the Charlie Company Cider Company, we offer a full complement of weapons to combat this nemesis, backed by Captain Eden's 65.3% satisfaction guarantee. Try our classic line of ciders, including Radiator Watermelon Sluice, Prison Cider Deluxe, and our #1 selling Hot Dog Cider. This fall, we're introducing our newest creation, Pumpkin Spice Hot Dog Cider, only from Charlie Company Cider Company. Just remember, when you're thirsty, just look for the 4 C's. And remember to look for our new vending machine on Solaris 7 and Arena 71, Section 914, Level 4, next to the mini Mechwarrior Daycare Center. Warning. Charlie Company's Cider Company's products contain ingredients known to the Canopus Health Authority to cause birth defects, blindness, sterility, heart failure, and the urge to crush your enemies and see them driven before you. All right.
Hold on. Actually, give me 1 second. It's sweaty in here. I need a fan.
I'm keeping that in.
That's fine. Excellent.
Let me set the stage. Atlantic City. Inner Sphere. Chaos March. Maybe. Maybe not. Nobody really knows where Jersey is. I mean, it's probably, Invasion Corridor or Chaos March. It's got to be.
It's got to be.
It's Jersey. I mean, come on. Come on.
We should have looked
across
this up
the river.
In Mech HQ. I bet they've got a Jersey planet somewhere.
They probably do. There's too many planets with too many names.
But we're not talking about that Jersey. We're talking about Atlantic City. The Atlantic City Open, the BattleTech tournament. 5 rounds of hot mech-on-mech BattleTech action while the elementals watch from the corner. But yeah, so we had the tournament, and we're going to give our quick little recap. So there were a couple rules that made the Atlantic City Open BattleTech tournament a little different than just your regular pickup games. So first off, we had I want to say restricted unit choice.
Yeah, restricted pool for sure.
Yeah.
So what was the selection? What could you build your list from?
You could build your list from Wave 1, Wave 2, and Wolf's Dragoons mechs.
So that Barnes & Noble thing and Wave 1 and 2, the Kickstarter, right?
Yep. So essentially, if there was a plastic version of it that came out, that mech was allowed. And the variants that were allowed were the ones downloadable for free from the Catalyst website.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So just like the Prime and A variant of most of the clan mechs, a 30-20, an intro tech and a 30-50-ish standard tech variant of all the inner sphere mechs.
Wow.
I think the latest one I saw was like 30-58, so like end of Clan Invasion. Now they specifically didn't say that this was because whatever the latest year.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, now they specifically spelled out this was not a era specific event. So but the units that were allowed were kind of limiting it to an upper year limit.
Well, they got to start somewhere.
Each player brings a single force list of 3 to 6 units to the event. So
not mechs, units.
Yeah.
Because
So
your elementals.
The only non-mech allowed unit would have been elementals in 2 of their flavors. The laser ones, or I guess 3. Laser, machine gun, and flamer.
No Shylon?
They specifically, for people like you, said no aerospace for this.
You have to have rules in place for people like me.
The units on this list are brought using the battle value listed on its record sheet with any adjustments for the pilot skill rating and may not exceed 6,500 BV.
Interesting.
So
that seems low to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested to see how it all turned out.
Well, it gets inflated later, kind of.
The special rules, yeah. Let's go into some special rules. Find out what other little bits that are going on.
Oh, I was just
okay. Do you mind if I take this first one?
Yeah, no, I was just checking to make. So yeah, go for it.
So the first special rule is one we've actually mentioned a few times due to user emails. They have one called Fire for Effect. In this one, each player chooses a unit or units, then declares and fires all of those units' weapons. Then the next player in initiative order does the same thing for one or more of their units. The weapons fire is still simultaneous, so damage, it's all the same rules, but there's no fire declaration phase. You declare and fire that unit at the same time.
Yep.
So it does speed up the game. It does change it, but it's uniformly changing it for everyone in an effort to speed it up for tournament purposes.
Yeah, I specifically like that they called out a unit destroyed during a phase will still be able to declare. So this isn't like someone could focus fire, kill you before you pick anything.
Right. Still simultaneous, but slightly changes the game theory involved.
Right. I think it weights initiative a little bit higher because of that. So winning initiative is more important in this situation.
Yeah. I mean, if I find that ammo bin with my Blackjack's AC2 on, and that's the first declaration of my turn, that would have largely changed, if I had declared every mech in a firing on a target in an attempt to bring it down.
Exactly. So you can do more damage to more units more consistently.
But it is for both players. So,
it's for both players, but it's also because it's trying to speed it up. Would I play that normally? No, but if I'm doing a tournament where that's the rules, then that's the rules. So I'm going to be happy with it.
Yeah. I think we talked about it before, but I effectively play with a honor version of Fire for Effect.
Yep, you do.
Where if I got that AC2, I'd have been like, well, I was definitely going to shoot at everything else. So, but that requires in a tournament setting, you got to be black and white. So
yeah.
I think my most common thing is like, I'm going to shoot everything that keeps me heat neutral, and that is actually in range and under a 13.
Right.
If it can hit,
I'm going to shoot it.
And if I'm going to stay heat neutral, I'm going to shoot it.
That is an actual rule where if you declare fire and then it turns out that you need a 13 or higher, you can elect not to fire that weapon. So you don't have to still fire it. You can just say, that was too high. My guy couldn't get a lock, did not pull the trigger on that. Good. But if you need a 12 or lower and you declared you were firing it, you have to fire it.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say we've played at other things with this. Like we played Alpha Strike at Southern Assault with pretty much the same thing.
Just the Alpha Strike version.
Declarations, we do not want to be sitting for 20 minutes while we count out heat, ammo, and all that, and ranges.
It cooks your brain a little bit, but...
Yeah. So I think Fire for Effect, great rule. Love it.
I will accept it. I don't know if I love it, but I will accept it in this format.
Inner grognard is showing.
The rules are there for a reason.
All right. What's the next rule, Denham?
Well-rounded pilots, and this, I guess, does go to that 6,500 BV total, because everybody gets their pilot upgraded to a 3-4 pilot for free. So they start off as 3-4. You can go down to a 2-3.
You can have 1,
1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can have 1 gunnery 2.
Yeah.
They don't specify piloting.
Right. So everybody is 3-4 and you don't pay for it. And there is a chart in the rules that gives you your BV modifier for upgrading any of your other pilots, but only one of them can be a 2.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this adds times 1.32, right? Since they
use 0.36. They use the old one.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's weird.
That is weird. Because they changed it to, right?
I don't know if they specified Battle Mech Manual. What's the word?
For everybody wondering what we're talking about, the BV multiplier for a 3-4 pilot, aka Clan Standard, went down. It got cheaper. So the multiplier went from like 1.36 or 1.38 to 1.32, right?
But not because of the gunnery. It's because they made piloting increases cheaper.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it clan players were happy because it made all their stuff a little cheaper. If you were playing fluffy 3-4 clans, people. So yeah, you take that 6,500 and you automatically multiply that by a little bit. Once again, this sounds like something that's in the interest of speeding up the game, right? I mean, if I'm introducing a new player to BattleTech, it's like 3-4 pilots. It feels better when things hit more often.
Now, there's a lot of thoughts on 3-4 being a standard. I think the big one is.
Well,
I won't go that far.
I will say for a long time, I really thought that maybe that was true. Maybe we should do that. But then the more I played, the more I realized that 4-5 is actually better for the standard. I play a lot of games where I bump up people because we're playing with like veteran and elite and elite lances. But to have the 4-5 as the standard, I think it actually works. It
it's
works.
because the game is balanced around 4-5.
It really is. It is.
3-4 is great. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying there's a problem with 3-4. I like that this event was like only the veterans are going to be coming to an event like this. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
We're here to actually, hit 66% of the time rather than
experienced units, experienced veterans only.
Yeah. And speaking to that game balance of 4-5, like, man, light mechs start to suffer at gunnery too.
They disappear.
Yeah, you're just like,
woo. And I mean, other mechs having a gunnery 2 versus your light mech. Your light mech's usefulness plummets. Yep.
So, I 3-4 is cool. Gunnery 3 is cool. Gunnery 4 is great, and then gunnery 2 is just like I actively don't like gunnery 2. But anyhow.
So what do you think on, because I just want to touch real quick, you can upgrade only one unit to gunnery 2 and you can keep the piloting at 4. They were not using the must be within 1.
Must be within 1. Yeah, I also don't like that. I mean, you were picking 6,500 from the beginning, so wouldn't everybody drop their gunnery 2 pilot into the most? I mean, it doesn't have to be the highest BV mech, but the one with the highest damage potential. Like, right. I'm sure everybody did that.
You've got your elite of the elite, your force leader, your force commander. It's like the hero mech in quotes.
Yeah.
I don't have it for a tournament like this where it should not take super long. I think that's fine.
No.
Now, I will say this just because I have the numbers and I want to kind of like shock Dustin as we roll along. There were 49 total units between all the lists.
Okay.
How many do you think took a gunnery 2? How many units do you think were gunnery 2?
I mean, every player got to take 1, right?
1. So,
And you didn't have to pay. It was a free upgrade.
No, it was not. You still had to pay.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to pay for your gunnery 2.
Oh, you had to pay for it?
The 3-4, everyone all is automatically
everybody got
3-4.
Right, but you had to pay for the gunnery 2.
Correct. You had to pay for the upgrading it to a 2-3 or any variant.
Gosh. I mean, that's really expensive. I don't think hardly anybody would have taken that. Maybe 3 people, 2 people?
6% of units, so 3 out of the 49.
Okay. Yeah, no, that checks out. I thought it was free for a second, so disregard. Yeah, I still don't like the gunnery too, even if you have to pay for it. But whatever.
All right. Moving down, we got force withdrawal was in effect. Everyone.
Woo!
That's any unit that suffers crippling damage must withdraw from the battlefield and attempt to exit the map on the nearest side its controlling player. If you could not leave and you were considered crippled, or your pilot was unconscious, or your mech was shut down, you were counted as destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, once again, this is to keep anyone from taking an Inner Sphere 3025 Marauder 2, which is a 100-ton mech with only energy weapons that just won't die. So,
cough, you.
again, it's to speed up a tournament play. I'm 100% for it. I mean, I like force withdrawal anyway, because people shouldn't be fighting to the death in any but the most dire of situations. So
I love force withdrawal.
Yeah, I've always been a force withdrawal fan.
I go back and forth on whether or not I'm going to include it on the next tournament, but that I run personally. But I like it. But I'm curious. I would want to ask the people who went to the tournament about this one, because some people don't like it because they feel like it's bulky to remember. Like, internal damage.
Once you do it a few times.
Now, I will say this. They specified a unit must always move towards the controlling player's board edge and use the maximum MP allotted for the chosen movement section, walking, running, or jumping. So, which
is a more granular
usage,
the verbiage, than what is in the Battle Mech manual, which is necessary because I ran into that. I had to make a call in my tournament. So it's good that they specified that.
Now, what is not specified on here, and also very confusing for people, 2 gyro hits, drops your mech, you can't stand up, you are not considered crippled.
No,
you are still an active, non-crippled mech.
You can roll around on the ground and shoot at people. Josh's favorite.
I hate it so much.
I think if I were rules in charge of the rules team and FAQ in it, I'd been like, oh yeah, you got no gyro, force withdrawal, you're out. You're punching out.
You're a turret. You're fine.
It's a good. Denham's like, good thing you're not on the rules.
I know exactly. Veto.
Okay. All right, next one. Here's one that I wasn't expecting. Battlefield support deck.
I was so happy to see that was put in there. I love these things.
I have to play with it before I form an opinion on it.
If you would show up to the store every now and again, you would.
Man.
The one game you were supposed to let me play with it, everyone forgot, and I was like, that's bad. But each player was allowed 6 points to use during their game, but they may not use the same support type more than once per game.
It makes sense.
Yeah. And they select their support after they determine who's in the attacker or defender role, but before deployment.
Yeah, I love that Battlefield support deck. I can't wait until the fixed second edition, because I think they left out like heavy airstrike or something.
How do you leave out heavy airstrike? I'm painting up aerospace fighters just to represent heavy airstrikes.
It was a mistake on their part, and they're like, we're reprinting it, and we're going to put that back in there.
Maybe I'll be able to get a hold of that reprint.
Yes. Yeah.
I want it.
Says all of us.
Yeah. It says all of us. Yeah.
All right.
But I love that. I'm so happy to put that in.
All right. The last one. The big kicker. Special ammunition is allowed. We're talking cluster. And I've already forgotten what the other ones are.
I would say cluster isn't what I would consider special.
Armor piercing, case cluster, flechette, precision.
Semi-guided,
Artemis. All of the bad boys.
Oh, wait, like all of them? Because could I take that stupid
all the Battle Mech manual allowed ones.
Okay. Because there's that really OP one. Tandem charge SRMs.
Look, we all want them. Catalyst won't give them.
For good reason.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But yeah, so what do we think about special ammunitions being allowed? Because I've all the events I've played have been like, no, half y'all get these rules wrong.
Right, exactly. First tournament, I was very surprised.
This was a secondary ad. So the rules came out. I read this. I saw this. And in the second, couple days later version, they had special ammo. And I was like, somebody wanted special ammo.
I would love to see stats on how many people took special ammo and what they thought of it overall afterwards.
I mean, if you're going to bring an autocannon to a clan fight, I want my special ammunition. So
now, part of me says you can't have one if you're going to have Narc and Artemis and all that. You can't have it without precision and all that. So
is there more special ammo than there was Gunnery 2 pilots?
There were only one list that had 2 precision ammos and a bunch of Narc LRMs. I will say that.
Oh, okay.
There was almost every list that had more missiles as a primary weapon had Narc.
And people, okay, this is a great example. When we were talking about the weapons way back a long time ago last year.
Uh-huh.
Because Narc and Artemis 4 basically do the same thing. So people are like, why would you ever use Narc now that you've got access to Artemis 4? And there's the reason is if you're building a list from something like this, where you can only use the Wave 1 and Wave 2 record sheets, you can swap out ammo and bring a mech that has Narc, and everybody takes advantage of the bonus cluster hit tables.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was Artemis, you could only have mechs that specifically came with Artemis to be able to use that.
And Artemis system costs tonnage. So
yeah, it does. It's a specific, it can't be swapped out like ammo. Whereas every catapult, a 30-25 catapult, you can give it Narc equipped ammo as just an ammo swap.
I will say there were 13 Narc equipped LRMs, and there was only one unit with semi-guided, and that was an Archer.
You have to do math to use semi-guided LRMs.
Yes, that they specifically were like, you still have to do semi-guided math if you're taking a tag in semi-guided. And
I do.
That's how the rules are, so not much
semi-guided
I can say about that.
Is strong. I've used it. It's strong. You need to pay for it.
But yeah, so a lot of Narc cluster autocannon ammunition was allowed. And like I said, there were only
pilot says not enough precision ammo.
Thoughts on these rules? Like if you were to play and use these missions with these rules in regular, like everyday games, how would you feel?
For the most part, I like it. If I were to do this every day, I'd still be wary of the fire for effect. But it is an optional rule for this rule set that was just implemented for this tournament. So it's not like you have to play with fire for effect. For the tournament, sure. For an everyday mission, I would probably try to eliminate that one.
Just because, like, okay, I declared Mech 1's shots and they all missed, and I really needed to kill that mech, so I'm going to go to Mech 2 and declare all of his shots. And it lets you... you go.
Yeah.
You go.
When I lose initiative for the 3rd or 4th time in a row and my mechs are being blasted apart because the opponent knows how devastating each mech salvo was, then I'm just I'm losing battlefield effectiveness at a much higher rate than I should be because of prestidigitation.
But would
because of precognition.
But wouldn't you be doing the same thing to your opponent, just at a slightly less effect?
Not if I was the one losing the initiative. I mean, yes, technically I could with the mechs of mine that were remaining.
Because damage is still simultaneous. Like even if he kills one, you still get to shoot it.
Okay, like it's not as bad. No, he's right. I didn't think of it quite at that level of math, but he is totally correct.
Yeah, it's not removed.
It does mitigate it a little bit.
Denham, I'm less angry now.
Yeah, I still have a bad taste, but I'm not going to throw up anymore.
You're an initiative purist. Like I just have to point that out. But
I have never played across the table. We finally played that game a long time ago, and I've never played with somebody who so faithfully followed the rules for declaring and your attacks. If
you use a house rule, not like an optional rule in the BattleTech manual.
We've gone over this 1,000 times.
All right. Okay. So never mind. Okay, carry on.
Dustin, would you play with these rules in like a regular pickup game, or if you were to run in a tournament?
Yeah. No, this is good. Yeah. I like. Let's see. Fire for effect is fine by me. Well-rounded pilots, cool.
Speeds up the game. That's all that does.
Yeah, force withdrawal, also cool. I thematically love force withdrawal so much. Battlefield support, haven't used it yet. Sounds cool. I'd like to.
It's
special
great.
Ammo, always after 30-25. Come on.
This was not era restricted, so all the ammos were allowed, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Look, so if the option were to not play or play by exactly these rules, 100%. I wouldn't even propose.
Yeah, I would not turn up my nose.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would not say no.
Yeah.
All right.
So actually, I am kind of upset that I did not that I was not able to sign up for this tournament. This
I was too, but I would have gotten COVID and been there, and I think no one would have appreciated that.
Jersey.
No. But the more of these that happen, the better, because I am interested.
Same. All right, let's move on to the missions. So these missions were set up in a attacker-defender style. You had to roll 2d6. The highest roll gets to determine who's the attacker. So you can either be the attacker or defender. And the defender player will choose which board edge is theirs. So
this was on like page 3 of the Warhammer rulebook, right?
Yeah, no, I was like, this is just Warhammer. I'm okay with this because it works.
It works. It is a proven method.
Yeah. So the attacker gets to automatically win initiative for the first turn. So that's kind of what it sets up for.
Yeah.
Players will place any objectives on the map as directed by scenario, blah, blah, blah. And each mission is 12 turns for a time limit.
12 turns?
12 turns. I mean, you're 3-4, and it's only 2 map sheets.
Right. It's 3 to 6 units. So if it's a 3-on-3, you can get to 12 turns.
No. I was just exclaiming because I convergently came up with the same number of turns.
Oh,
it's almost like someone might have heard, an episode.
The 2d6. Hey, maybe. I won't be.
Actually, that is surprised. You know what? No. Dustin didn't determine this. We're a 2d6 game. 2 dice can equal 12. You can count how many turns using 2d6 dice.
That was literally why I chose 12 turns. It was.
I don't believe you. I'm pretty sure you used complicated math to determine 12.
On 2d6, I can get up to 66 turns, but I have to skip.
All right,
I have to skip 7 through 9 through 9 of each bracket.
So, like I said, every game set up into a attacker defender role. So, depending on who wins, you might be doing something a little different. And all the missions were posted beforehand, so you could build your list kind of to do hopefully one or the other. So,
and there were no sideboards for this, right?
No sideboards. What you took was what you were deploying with.
Nice.
Do you guys want to talk about that real quick? Blind missions versus published missions?
Not for this.
Not for this? Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
This is only ACO.
All right.
Just let it be stated that I did like that the missions were published for this. So
okay.
I'm 50-50 on published missions or not.
Yeah.
I like it. I also like building a take-all-comer and, having that 30-second anxiety attack and be like, all right, we can do this.
But this one seemed to be built where it seemed that time was a concern. Pre-posting the missions still helps. Anything that helps you cut down time, because then you don't have that 10 minutes some people take to read over a mission.
I'm sorry, 3 hours. They were 3 hours, man.
Oh,
3. Whoa.
Yeah.
They had time to read the mission.
Yeah, they did.
Time.
Okay.
But they're a little day. I'd rather them get done a little bit faster for their first few tournaments than go over.
That's true. I didn't hear of anyone slow playing or struggling to complete the mission. I mean, like I said, it's only 12 turns, so there were discrete time limit and turn limit, which is great. So let's deep dive into some of these missions. Mission number 1 everyone ran was First Contact. And a little brief for that is, the attacker must keep the defender from relaying information about their forces. They attempt to destroy any unit that has gotten a positive read on them and disrupt the opposing forces' communications as they approach. The defender must attempt to scan the approaching units to see if they are friend or foes. Each player will place a level 2 hardened building 5 hexes from the center line. All right, so 50% of this mission score was essentially kill points. And that is the way that all these missions, they have the exact same, which is a player earns match points equal to a unit's BV divided by 100, rounded up for each unit that they cripple. Double this reward if you destroy the unit. You may earn a maximum of 50 match points for this objective.
That's interesting that they put that in every mission.
Yes, it was weighted differently for other missions, but
that the kill was weighted in each mission is interesting. Yeah.
Now, I will say the max you could score for this mission was 50. The other ones, like I said, are different, either 40 or different. If you're taking a 6,500 BV force, the max you could score is 65 points during this. With this one being the max you could actually get is 50. So there was, if you killed everything, you wouldn't score 65, you'd score 50. So
okay, so they limited it to 50.
Yeah. The other half of the scoring points for mission 1 were objective. For some reason, I've read this like 25 times, and I struggled. Oh God, not that.
Oh God.
Yellow. Yeah. All right. So the attacker must upload a virus to the defender's communication tower, aka the building that they placed on their side of the table. You may upload a virus to a building objective if your active unit spends its entire turn from initiative to end phase stationary in an adjacent hex. All right. I'm just, if the active unit is crippled or destroyed before the end phase, it fails to upload. This objective is worth 25 match points. You may achieve this objective once for each objective. So 2 objectives, 2 buildings, 2 objectives, and you can score it twice. And the defender's objective is you may promote an active unit to a data carrier if it ends the movement phase in a hex next to an opposing unit, or a unit with an active probe ends the movement phase within that range of that probe. Yada, yada, yada. Essentially, get next to a unit, scan it, quote unquote, and then get off the board. And you could do that twice for a total of 50 objective points. All right. What do we think about those two? Yeah, no. These are very interesting.
I mean, I would have to see the mission play out. You have both sides effectively trying to stay stationary next to something and then get off the board. Am I interpreting that right?
The attacker wants to get to the building.
Okay.
And stay still.
The defender.
The defender wants to get next to a opponent, like in the exact hex next to it, or if it has a Beagle active probe, a little bit different.
Yep.
And then get off the board.
Right.
Completely off the board. So
the attacker has to stand still for the whole phase, whereas the defender doesn't have to do that?
The defender has to end a turn.
Yeah,
so it's correctly.
So it seems easier for the defender to kind of play their objective, but however the attacker
you would say that,
yes,
Dustin. You would say that.
So we have all the statistics for winner, whether it was the attacker or the defender, which is great. And I would have to completely thank Red Wolf from the Catalyst demo team for organizing this data packet so beautifully.
Thank you so much.
Many Bothans died to bring us this, and
I mean, I killed one afterwards just because I didn't want any survivors.
No loose strings, but
that's right.
I can understand this is probably as much just for their benefit, for clarification and improvement of missions. So think of all these as first rough draft. But
so I take it based on your exclamation that the attacker performed much more poorly than the defender, and I have a reason why.
I also have a reason why, and you'd correct. There was a 4-to-1 defender to attacker win ratio. Yeah.
So standing still for a whole turn ever
is garbage.
Is hard. That is tough. So yeah, I mean,
we know that from Southern Assault.
Yes, we do. So whereas the attacker has to stand still next to a building, the defender can have a TMM and be close to an enemy unit. That happens all the time in BattleTech. But standing in the middle of a field going, shoot me, is rough.
Yeah.
Okay. So as expected, I guess.
The data supports your analysis.
Okay. Yeah, I would.
Like I said, this mission, first off, is mission 1. It's a little wordy, like just in the sense of most people are just, it's game 1. Like I always say, game 1 should be simple. It should be just kill.
Yeah. You had to spoon feed it to me.
Right. Now, everybody played all 5 missions, right? So
as far as I'm aware.
It wasn't like a random, when you get to the table with your opponent, you randomly roll what mission you're going to do. It's just that like everyone did mission 1, everyone did mission 2, et cetera, et cetera.
Correct.
There were asymmetrical missions are difficult.
And they're difficult to balance.
Yes.
I will say I don't hate this mission. I just definitely think it's weighted defender. Like one of you has to stand still and
one doesn't.
And once again, this is the first tournament, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot of
of course.
Making things more efficient.
Yeah.
All right. So I think everyone's opinion on mission 1 is kind of the same.
Yep.
All right, mission 2, asset containment. The attacker and defender are trying to recover several pieces of lost tech in a race against time. They must drop off troops at several buildings to start the recovery, while also ensuring the opposition does not do the same.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's buildings, and they must be 10 hexes away from the center line. So essentially each roughly deployment zone has buildings in them. 40% of this mission is killing, just like before. Max 40 points instead of 50, like the
50,
last one, though.
Okay.
60% is the objective. And it's the same for both players. Secure the lost tech. You may secure a building marker if your active unit ends the movement phase adjacent to that marker, and your opponent has no active units adjacent to it as well. Once secured, the building marker will stay secured even if you leave it. Place the token. You will score 20 points if you secure more building markers than your opponent in the end phase of any round. You may earn a maximum of 60 points for this objective.
Yep, this is definitely one for a larger force of lighter mechs than a
Big
force
slow
of a couple
force.
heavy mechs. Yeah.
Yeah, because if they're 10 hexes from the center line, you've got a good ways to go.
Yep.
Yep.
And
once you capture it, it's captured. So the more you can capture at one time, the further they'll fall behind.
Yeah. Could you capture?
And it should be noted that these buildings could not be destroyed or stood on.
So this was mostly symmetrical. It doesn't seem like, other than automatically winning initiative.
Correct.
So tell me how this one played out.
2 markers. So everyone had two objectives that they could place.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, so 4 buildings.
Yep, 4 buildings on the board. Each player has 2.
Okay. And either player could capture any number of the 4 buildings. So what was the distribution on this mission?
It was even.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, all the rest
all
of the
the
mission.
Yeah, all the rest of them were even.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool mission. This is a classic objective, kind of hold the objective, keep your opponent from doing the same.
Yeah, so if you capture 3, then
It's
your
not
opponent,
a take and hold, it's just a take.
Yeah, it's just a take.
so really
hold.
you're grabbing 2 on hopefully your first turn, your 2, quote unquote, and then moving to get the opponents. And the first one to get 1 without losing 1 is going to get 20 points. So you do that for 3 turns, you've max scored.
Yep.
So I think, like Denham said, this one definitely favors a fast and numerous unit.
Mm-hmm.
This one was pretty high scoring. So I think, like I said, everyone did pretty well on that one. Then we got mission number 3, take and hold.
Ah, yes, the hold part.
Communication warfare is critical, which makes things like HPG uplink towers of vital importance. The attacker must seize these towers from the defender if they have any hope of coordinating with the larger planetary assault. Meanwhile, the defenders have to keep control of the comm tower to stay in communication. All right, so we had 40% was killing, and 60% was mission, and that is hold the uplink. You are holding a building marker if you control more active units adjacent to that marker than your opponent. Battle armor, and infantry must dismount to hold a marker. You score 10 points for each marker you hold in the end phase of any round. Maximum of 60 points. So
pretty cookie cutter. It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, I like that one a lot because it's tried and true. I do like that the infantry and battle armor have to be dismounted.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so you can't count it as, if it's on a unit, it's 1 unit.
Right.
I mean, you either use them as meat shields or you use them as objective holders. There's no in between.
Correct.
Like attackers, my friend. Swarm attacks. I paid for them. Gonna use them.
Yeah, so it looks like both of them had 1 objective. Each player, starting with the attacker, places a building marker anywhere within 5 hexes of the center line in clear terrain. Yeah, looks like the attacker was the only one who got to place that. Like I said, this one's a pretty simple one. Like, there's not much to... It's just take and hold, which is, I don't know, the name of the mission.
Yeah.
I like keep it
take
simple.
the HPG and hold the uplink. This is BattleTech trademark.
That's true. All right. Mission 4, base assault. 3 buildings. The defender places the building marker anywhere in the defender's half of the board in clear terrain. Continue placing building markers, blah, blah. Each building marker must be at least 2 hexes from any board edge and 6 hexes from another marker. Cannot be stood on or entered, and they have 95 construction factor health. Yeah.
Interesting.
40% of this is kill, 60% is objective, and the attacker's objective is, of course, attack and destroy all the building markers, with each building being worth 20 points. 60% for the defender is you must prevent the destruction of the buildings. Now, this one has the weird caveat of the defender can repair the buildings if they are standing adjacent to the building and shoot at it. And Denham is shaking his head. Should I read the footnote?
Hey, they said any ammunition, which means your plastcrete launcher.
Now, I'm trying to think, is there an ammunition that does more damage to buildings?
Not really.
Denham's calculating.
I mean, artillery does a lot of damage. Like it would damage all building hexes in the explosion radius.
There were no
multi-hex buildings.
Arrow 4 in this special munitions game.
That I saw.
I mean, I can understand why they wrote that in there because this is so. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I have a very similar mission I've been playtesting for my tournament. It's interesting. I started with, I think, 50 construction factor and immediately moved that up to 75. It's interesting to see 95, which the last game I played, I was like, maybe a little more. Mine is symmetrical, so no need for the defender to shoot their buildings. But this is like a how much damage can you do mission.
Now,
right?
I will say, if you did 75 and you multiply that by 1.32, you get roughly 95. So you're calculating for 4 or 5 pilots. They're calculating for 3, 4.
Yeah, I have played my version of this mission. I like it.
So you said the spread was repair gun.
There was no repair guns.
Medic on there.
No repair guns in my mission to make Denham angry.
I mean, I'm not angry. I just don't think it fits. Like, I think it fits really well if we were to do this in that arcade operations book that came out.
I want to say I understand why they have it, because if someone just has like Gauss rifles or something that can sit back and could theoretically take out a building in the first turn or two, because the buildings have to be clear line of sight. So if you get on a level 1 or 2, like, you're going to have line of sight. So there needs to be a way to at least stop that. Can you block it with a mech? Can you
I would say the way to stop that, and this has played out in my mission, is to kill those mechs that are shooting your buildings.
Use your lighter, faster mechs to get around them. And if they're hanging out on the edge of the board, push them off.
Yeah. And I've talked about cinematicness of missions. This plays out in poorly. A cinematic. No. In my play tests, which my mission is kind of similar to this, it's pretty cinematic. You have both players seem to be properly incentivized to both try to kill the mechs that are killing your buildings and to kill the other buildings. This doesn't work out quite the same way because...
But this one only has one player having buildings.
Yeah, but you can shoot your buildings to repair them, so it's somewhat similar.
It just means that your lighter mechs are hiding behind the buildings, so they can't be shot, and they're just shooting the buildings. Now, if all damage is simultaneous, how does that work? Like pick up
the rubble and put it back together,
Right. Like, when is it destroyed? Is it destroyed if it's at 0 after the entire phase? Like, I don't know. I'd have to watch this one.
What's your question?
Because of fire for effect, if one mech does 100 points of damage to this 95-point building, it is destroyed. Yep. And the mech on the defender's side says, look, you destroyed it. I'm going to do 80 points of damage back to it with my weapons. Now it's an 80 point. I got 80 points back.
Well, it happens at the same time, so I'm going to treat this like positive and negative numbers.
You know what? No, because I don't think Denham's once again asking questions without reading the full rules. Because I'm just saying I'm shorthanding all. I'm shorthanding all these rules.
Okay.
Okay.
Repairing. The unit must end its movement adjacent to the building marker. This unit forfeits making any attacks that round and spends time help shoring up its defense. The unit shoots the building marker with as many of its weapons as it wishes, using all the normal rules. Any damage done to the building marker by the defender will add construction factor back to the building instead of subtracting it. Units resolve these repairs before the weapon attack phase, and any units making repairs may not take action in that turns weapon or physical attack phases.
Okay. Yeah,
so if you one-shot the building, it's destroyed.
So never mind.
If you can.
Just never mind. I withdraw my objections.
Okay.
So much editing for this one. I hate it. All right.
Never leave that in there. That's fine.
What do you guys think about this one? I didn't
different.
Hear a lot of opinions from you.
Part of me is like, just give each player 2, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, that's what my mission does.
Yeah.
It's just a mirror match. Just
yeah.
Shoot buildings. Both players have buildings. Both players try to kill the mechs that are killing their buildings. It's fun.
Yeah.
This is, I would have to play
I've
this.
got no problems.
This is a little weird, but
I got no problems with the mission at all. I had problems with the repair idea, not reading all the repair rules, but
you're fine. That's my fault for shorthanding.
Yeah, even then, I kind of don't like that ability. But I'd have to play that mission a few times to see if there were any tweaks I could do. And I think that's what's going to happen with a lot of these. I think the more people play them, the more tournaments we have, the more they'll get refined, and the more it'll make sense. And maybe that's the perfect way to do it. In which case, okay, I'll do it.
All right, mission number 5, send them packing. Great way to send off the day 2. As the attacker attempts to break through the defender's lines, the defender aims to teach the attacking force a lesson. 40% is kill points, and the other 60% is send them packing. The defender's mission. You earn 20 match points for each of the attacker's units you put into force withdrawal. You may score this objective up to 3 times. So if you kill 3 units, no matter what they are, you max score that. The attacker, you earn 20 points for each active unit that you were able to exit off the table via the defender's home edge. So as long as you get 3 units off the board, you max score that.
Yep, that's cool. I like that.
So that is an Omni Mech with a battle armor on top. That counts for 40 out of 60 points.
Mm-hmm. So this is out of the Total Warfare book. It's got a different name.
Yep.
But it's
Yeah, I recognize that from there as well. Like it's just like the Take and Hold. It's tried and true. It's been play tested.
See, I've never played this mission.
I've definitely played one of these in like a chaos campaign. Like you're just trying to run through the enemy force.
How do you like it? Denham likes it, right? It gets a thumbs up from you.
Yep, I like totally 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's just simple. It's just BattleTech. Like
it's just BattleTech simple,
but it's fun.
Yeah. Like
you paid for the rear armor, you're going to use the rear armor, right?
Hey, those rear-facing weapons.
Hey, there you go.
Just looking at the scores, there's at least 2 games where nobody killed anyone and they just ran across.
Yep.
It's a viable strategy if you can get 60% of your score just by running.
Yeah, if you happen to take your force had 3 or more faster units, yay! This is where that shines.
The speed mission.
You're not going to do well in all of them, but you're certainly going to do well in this mission. So, yeah, this is the whole. How well did you build your force to handle multiple types of objectives?
Yeah.
All right. So those are the missions. What do we think about them? Like, if those were our 5 missions for every Catalyst tournament ever, do we have thoughts? Would we be pitchforks, torches, champagne? What are we doing?
Champagne.
Not champagne, but I would certainly
a low alcohol or a low BV alcoholic beverage.
Fusion airs.
Yeah, you're talking to a lightweight over here, so I need like a 3% beer, draft beer, maybe 4 or 5%. If we're feeling
I mean, I think they're good. I think at least our view from people who play BattleTech, on a weekly basis, mission 1, First Contact, is the only one that's a slight issue, and that's just because it's the tried and true standing still next to anything is garbage. Like, I hate it.
It's and I guess, clearly with hindsight and looking at the numbers, mostly won by whoever won the initiative roll, which is swingy, I guess. No, it's not swingy. It's just
it's
lopsided, I guess.
Mission 1 was actually defender weighted.
Weighted.
So they lost the initiative.
Either way,
actually.
Oh, so you wanted to lose the initiative. That being said,
that was because the attacker had to stand still. The defender did not.
Yes. Looking at the mission, I would have been like, you got the whole phase. And then, so I would have.
So, yes, I guess you're right. If you would win the initiative and then choose to be the defender.
But either way, I would be happy to play at a tournament. These missions are great.
Yeah, I'd love to play these.
Josh?
Yeah, no, I love them. Like,
Okay.
Literally the only thing I might modify from mission number 1 is you don't have to stand still for an entire turn. Boom, problem solved. That's it. Like you end your phase there, and you can go the next turn away. That's it.
Yep. Yep. I'd like to try it that way. So we actually know what a lot of the lists were for these
We
games.
know all of the lists, sir.
We know all of the lists. I do know that
I've crunched a lot of numbers.
Yeah. I don't,
did you?
Yeah, no, I crunched all the numbers every which way. I know which flavor the numbers are.
What was the balance between clan and intersphere forces?
There were 3 clan, 4 intersphere, and 3 mixed.
Okay, so that's pretty darn even.
Yes.
It
was pretty much.
Yeah, pretty darn even. I'm going to say that if there was a group that had heavy intersphere mechs, that they would do the worst. Like a group of just heavy intersphere mechs.
Yeah, I mean, we had multiple objective types, so I think a take all comers kind of list would probably perform well. Yeah. I will hedge my bet by saying that I still suspect to this day that really fat lances just perform well in BattleTech as a system, but I'm not a true believer in that.
Yet. I think they're too slow. I think clan heavy mechs have more speed than intersphere heavy mechs do. Certainly. And since this is classic, not Alpha Strike, I would say that anybody that had elementals would probably do well.
Yes, that's true.
Medium and heavy clan mechs would do well, but if you took like assault and heavy intersphere mechs only, I don't think it would do well in most of these missions. That's my opinion.
I need the it's not the Price is Right. What's the number 1 answer on the board?
It's Family Feud.
Now, if we were doing Family Feud, Denham
survey says,
Denham says heavy intersphere lances do bad. Survey says.
Ding, 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 ding.
Correct. The 2 heaviest lists brought did the worst, and they were IS. Like
they were slow.
They were 3, 5, 4, 6.
I bet they had plenty of firepower. They just didn't have the mobility to achieve their objectives.
Yeah, I mean,
3, especially once you move out of introductory tech, even 4-6 feels pretty slow. So yeah, 5-8.
5-8 and below,
6-9, even better.
The only problems I see is depending on if you are the attacker or the defender, it depends on it whether you're the mobile force or the immobile force. And running up with a 50-50 chance is.
So mission 1 would be the only place where a heavy intersphere lance would do well as the attacker, because if you're going to be immobile anyway, you might as well have the armor to capitalize on.
Lots of armor.
Yeah, I would think that, and those heavy intersphere lances did pretty poorly on that mission. Dustin, what were you saying? What's your survey says Family Feud question?
I was saying that a take all comers list, regardless of IS or, if you got good skirmishers, good IS skirmishers, but take, like a heavy /assault mech for the anchor, my classic list, anchor, half a sniper, skirmishers, 2 skirmishers, 2 mobile or strikers, mobile units. A good mixed list. That's what I feel like would perform well.
Man, now I have to go build a list.
But do tell me whether it mattered, IS or mixed or what.
At least from my numbers, it did. The clan took the top 3.
Oh, I mean, Kerensky would be proud.
Yeah, clan took the top 3, and I wanted
Kerensky was right.
And then the rest, like the middle, was kind of the mixed, and then the IS were.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
kind of it.
Yeah. The IS actually struggled on this, and I kind of want to say I thought that before, and I have written down some thoughts that I made. Predictions.
I bet it's the speed. That's my.
Yeah,
I bet it's the speed factor. Is why Intersphere did worse overall.
Yeah.
Now, not having seen it, I'd love to see the VODs for this.
Right.
But
I want
that's
Trivid.
That's right. I'd love to see the replays. But that's my assumption. Is it mobility? Mobility was key.
So the top 3 lists, their fast mechs were a Fire Moth, a Mist Lynx, and an Arctic Cheetah.
I love the Mist Lynx.
I don't love it, but it technically was in the winning list, so it's got some records now.
I'm a Wolf
fast.
player. I don't get to
fast.
play with.
They will carry elementals.
Yep.
So let's go down the winning list, because let's start there. The winning list was Brad Nichols. Congratulations on winning. He had a total of 6,471 BV. He has a Nova Cat B, a Summoner B, a Mist Lynx A, and 3 elementals with flamers.
Ooh.
So
Summoner B is a solid mech too. I like that one.
Summoner B is solid. Now,
And
does
you
anyone
said flamer elementals?
Yes.
Yeah, I would have done that too.
Oh, really? Why? That's interesting.
Because
just to heat him up?
fire does heat and damage, or heat or damage, depending on the special rule that you do. But having the option to either damage or heat up an enemy mech can be key, especially for mobility.
Do either of you, off the top of your head, know what a Nova Cat B and a Summoner B have in common?
The
weapon.
LRMs. LRMs out their reactor ports.
Oh, really?
The Nova Cat B has 6 LRM 15s.
Whoa. And the Summoner B?
The Summoner B has 2 LRM 20s and 2 SRM 4s with a Nargo.
Oh. I must have been thinking the A. The A's got the Gauss rifle.
Yeah. A's got the Gauss rifle. So,
okay,
yes.
So lots of lerms.
Lots of lerms. That's... Blake,
Jesus,
that's a lot. I see you
Blake,
in a room with a lot of lerms.
We'll fight them in the shade.
Yeah, apparently everyone else did fight them in the shade, and we're still sweeping up their list. Yeah, no, I mean...
That's a lot of lerms.
That's a lot. I wrote on the 31st of May, for the missions, I think a dedicated LRM mech is going to do well, so I'm of the mind to keep it. Only to, lo and behold, didn't think that many lerms would be good.
That's impressive. Now, these are clan lerms.
Yes.
So,
which I almost want to say don't want to... I almost don't want to...
They don't count as sniper.
Yeah, no, they're not.
Yeah, they really don't.
They're all purpose.
They're all purpose.
And they're long range. So
that's why I like the Mist Lynx. It's that Lerm 10.
But
it's
two SRM 20s basically
at 3-4.
Yeah.
Woo.
So
spicy.
Yeah, even the A has I want to say the Mist Lynx A was just there to like move around, take objectives, drop off battle.
Move elementals, yeah.
Oh, it was the A, not the prime.
Okay. Correct.
Even if it drops off an elemental and then goes over and picks up another one that someone else dropped somewhere else and brings, like he could do all kinds of elemental taxiing.
Yeah, I mean it's only 608 BV. It's so cheap.
Yeah. So yeah, good job, Brad.
Yeah. Jesus, that's a lot of LRMs. No, I definitely think going back to the missions, this is a list that was built to do well at these missions. For game 1, I don't want to say it was going to do great on mission 1, but I mean, where is it, Brad? Brad scored max points, so he killed everyone.
Wow.
And it doesn't say if he was attacker or defender, but he did whichever one he was supposed to do and then moved on.
Max points for almost every mission.
Yeah. Yes. He only got 80 points on round 5. All the others were perfect. Flawlessly executed, sir. Like I said, for this LRMs, you can pretty much be at any range. You can fire. You're not dealing with minimums. So even point blank, actually point blank, you're even more dangerous because you're in short range, 7 down.
You're hitting more frequently. And I mean, on the 20 racks, that's average of 12, which is, I mean, that's not nothing.
Yeah.
Even though it's spread out, but it's not a Lerm episode. So
I do want to give special mention to the number 2 and number 3. The number 2 list had 3 Vulture A's.
And a Fire Moth.
And a Fire Moth.
Take 3.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no chassis variant limit. You could take 3 to 6 units. That was it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was Mike Gebhardt. And 3 Vultures. And number 3 was Russell Rosen, and he took Clan as well, and he had a Vulture A as well. So,
Yep, Thor B, Vulture A, Arctic Cheetah A, and 2 points of Elementals.
Yeah. So Elementals good, Vulture's good.
Yep. Oh, also that Summoner B, he also took that.
Yeah.
The one with the LRMs.
Yeah, the Vulture A is the 6 SRM 6s, so
yes.
I don't want to say
With
you're
Narc.
fishing for crits. Yeah. I don't want to say you're fishing for crits, but that's also, Jesus, that's a lot of SRMs. So I want to say I don't want to, make broad conclusions from, 10 players, but Clan Missile's good.
Yeah, Clan Missiles are good.
Dustin, what do you think?
The Vulture A has a lot of SRMs.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But they're on chassis that are fast. I want to say like 5.8.
Yeah, that Vulture was also one of the few Gunnery 2 people with those.
Interesting. Everybody knows that the Clan 5.8 heavy is brutal.
It's very, very optimized.
Regardless of the chassis. Yeah. Some are more brutal than others, but they're all pretty brutal.
Yeah. These were nasty lists, and like I wouldn't want to meet them in a dark alley. How about that? There were, I will say, some special mentions. Like I said, there were 4 Vultures. They were all the A variant. There were 6 Elementals, 4 of them with flamers, 2 of them with lasers. There were 4 Ravens. And they were all the 3L, and I'm gonna go with that was the only choice of Narc. Except no. That's not true. The Mistlink or the
I was gonna say, there's some Clan mechs, right?
Yeah.
It's the only Intersphere version.
It's correct.
Yeah.
And there were 3 Centurions. Some of my big takeaways from this is I want to say Clan did good because of Elementals as well as LRMs and missiles.
I'd have to see it because then was it the LRMs? Because I mean, Clan LRMs are severely they're so light and there's no minimum range, and
it's 615s,
so much damage. But also mobility. You've got to get to the right place, and being able to drop off an elemental to take a building while you go off and do something else. It's
because of what they've released in Wave 1 and Wave 2. Not only could you could play mixed and bring elementals, but you'd have to bring the Omnimex as a ride. There's there was no IS standard, nor were there IS Omnimex. So
I'm trying to think what a mixed list could do that wouldn't just be pure Clan, just to exploit that.
Ooh, let's build some lists, Josh.
But like you were saying, you were kind of, I don't want to say you were fenced in for what mechs you could take and what variants. So there was only a small selection, and I think the Nova Cat B, the Vulture A are definitely they're cheap enough that they're not weighted, for their armor or their speed too heavily. So they've got good offense, good defense, and great mobility, and no minimum range and good long range too. So
Clan heavy mechs are just very optimal.
Yeah. What other takeaways can you guys glean from this?
Just sadness that I was not able to go. This seems really cool.
We'll be there next time.
Yeah,
yes,
my big takeaway
will.
Is basically the same thing I said in the beginning, which was that now there's a standard, and that's great for new players and new communities, especially to run their tournaments. It's hard to make your own tournament, and if there's something to look to that's official, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I will try to link. I will try to remember once again to link something. So if you just click the description for the podcast episode, there should be there for the Atlantic City Open 2022 BattleTech Champions documents. Are you happy now? Yes.
I will be happy when you do it.
Okay. I mean, I'd like to give shout outs to or congrats to all the players that went. I'm also sorry I couldn't make it. I was really hoping I could.
Hope everybody had a good time.
Yeah. unfortunately, there were 2 players that I know that couldn't make it and we're really looking forward to, and my reactors out to them.
Yes.
So if you were going to build a list reading these missions, would you, and knowing what kind of would won, and knowing kind of which list won and did well, is there like a counter meta that we can see right now?
Be put on the spot.
6 AMSs?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
AMS would be very powerful here.
Now, unfortunately, there were no C3 variants, and I think maybe that could have done it.
Yep, C3 would have been good. Overwhelming numbers surrounding getting rear arc shots. If you could blow up some of that ammo and knock out the pilots. Yeah, I'd have to say like a Comstar level 6, something with 6 mechs on the inner sphere side with mobility to get behind these. You've got to outnumber the clan mechs. You've got to surround them.
I'll say this: the number 4 was only counted as mixed because they took a Piranha for 998 PV. I don't know if that's just personal preference or just like, hey, it's a fast mech that might get off a bunch of machine guns. Like I can't think of the reasoning to take that rather than I can't think of a reason to take that rather than like a Wasp or Stinger that's just going to jump.
See, Robert's list has so many narc missiles. So if the Raven goes down, it kind of gimps that a bit.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue I see on a.
But if you can get that Raven to tag to narc a few mechs, then I think you'd be in good shape.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very iffy though. It's too many.
It's all eggs in one basket.
Yes, that's the one.
Let's find the right idiom for this situation.
Good job, Josh.
Yeah, right. So we had Bobby actually message us with his thoughts after the game, and I asked him if there was anything he would changed in his list. He said he would have swapped his Piranha for a Mongoose and used the extra points to bump the skill up of the Thug instead of the Orion he took. Also, on his taking a Piranha, he says that his Piranhas punching above their weight is kind of a meme in his local group, and that during a game he did use it to trade for a Warhammer, so he can't really be mad at him. He also agreed that he felt some of the missions were skewed attacker or defender a little too much, but anyone who was in attendance was a good group and there was no salt between anyone. Thank you for writing in, Bobby. The Mechbay podcast salutes you. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I'd like to thank Red Wolf again for giving us the statistics for the games, and I would like to thank David Martin, the head judge, and Kurt, the floor judge, for running the event, and the rest of the Catalyst demo team. I'm trying to think of like good thoughts for this, and I can't. The problem is there was just such a small selection of variants and mechs that you could take. I feel like
it's just going to get bigger. I mean, with the mercenaries, like the new plastics coming out, the list, the official pool is just going to grow. I mean, I understand why they picked such a small pool to begin with as they're learning,
and it keeps all the rules like a knowable, easy level. Like
yes,
yeah. There's 3 PDFs with all the mechs on it, and they can pick it up, download it, and look at exactly what the mech is at any time.
Yep. It's just going to get bigger and better, and I'm looking forward to it a lot.
I guess that means there will be vehicles allowed in the next one, right, guys?
I'm excited. I hope so.
I can only hope.
Even if they don't do aerospace, the fact that they allowed battlefield support points for this, vehicles are covered under that for the Tukiad book, so it's not like they don't have an easy way to use them. Yeah,
I was a little sad they didn't let you use the Tukiad variant specials, like the Comstar ones.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Clan Busters, that's what they are.
Yep, the Tukiad's got a lot of cool things, like those variants and the vehicle, abstracted vehicle rules for the battlefield support points. Anything else, guys? Or you think that it, and you're just waiting for the next tournament to talk about, right? I am. I would like to actually play some of these at the stores just to play around and see how it feels. Mm-hmm. I know that Dustin's not ready with his tournament yet, but as a holdover, I would like to do some of these, especially on the off nights, the non-mission nights. Let's try some of these. Just see how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, just run the missions.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, the missions look good. Like, I'm happy to play them. Just that one change to mission 1, it's perfect.
Yeah, I'm still off for a few weeks, so I'm gonna build a couple 6,500 BV forces.
And then promote them to 3-4.
Yeah. Promotion.
Well, that's it for us today, folks. Check us out on Facebook at the Mechbay Podcast. Join us on the Discord for BattleTech related discussion. Send us your questions and comments at the Mechbay Podcast at gmail.com. As always, many thanks to our supporters. Because of you all, we were able to head over to Canopus 4 to gamble and relax and stuff. Relax. That's right. It happens in the Magistracy of Canopus, stays in the Magistracy of Canopus.